The year was 1996, and the location was Anderson, Indiana. Workers at a General Motors plant were tasked with cleaning up a pit of chemical sludge, a routine but unpleasant job. As they began their work, they stumbled upon something truly bizarre, something that would send shivers down their spines and leave them with questions that may never be answered. Within the toxic oily mixture they were tasked with cleaning, several squid-like creatures, 6 to 8 inches long, were found writhing around. These creatures had tentacles, and according to some reports, even eyes. The Delphi Interior plant, where this discovery was made, specialized in making plastic car bumpers. The chemicals used in the process were harsh and unforgiving, including antifreeze, stripper, oil, and polyol. It was an environment entirely inhospitable, yet these creatures seemed to be thriving in it. One of the workers, horrified by the sight of these creatures, struck one of them, killing it instantly. The creature was then placed in a jar and preserved for further examination, testing, and identification. What were these creatures? How did they get there? And how were they able to survive in such a toxic environment? Grab some hot cocoa and stay with us as we discuss the oil pit squids of Indiana. A quote from a worker in Indianapolis at that time reads, "I live in Indianapolis. There is a manufacturing town called Anderson, about 20 to 30 minutes north of the city. This story was originally told to me by a guy that I work with and lives in Anderson. At the Delphi plant, they had a tank they used to store byproducts and chemicals from making bumpers. They found several squid-like creatures in this toxic goo. One apparently had an eye. The specimens were taken, and no one ever saw them again. No word was ever sent as to what it really was. There were a few of them. They apparently were somewhat transparent and resembled squids, about as big as your hand. These chemicals would not be conducive to any kind of life. It's called the oil pit squid." Weeks later, in early December, the jar holding the creature disappeared. The GM plant claimed to have investigated the theft thoroughly, but quickly dropped the investigation due to a lack of leads. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management and the EPA dismissed the incident, stating that the workers must have mistaken a bacterial growth caused by fresh water leaking into the chemical sludge for a creature. This leak, they explained, was the reason for the cleanup in the first place. The official explanation did little to quell the unease that lingered in the factory. Whispers of the strange discovery and its subsequent disappearance circulated among the workers. And in March of 1997, the pit was inspected and cleaned, erasing any remaining trace of the incident. The strange creatures, the mysterious jar, and the unanswered questions were all washed away, leaving behind only the faintest hint of a mystery. Before we get into theories about what these creatures could have been, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Thank you. Theories have since popped up about what the creatures could have been. Some choose to believe the EPA's claim that the workers mistook bacterial growth for a squid-like creature. After all, there are species of bacteria that can be classified as extremophiles, organisms that thrive in environments with extreme conditions. That is why we can find bacteria almost anywhere in the world, such as the sulfur mines of Canada, or the liquid asphalt lake, Pitch Lake, of Trinidad. But how does that explain the reports that the creature had an eye? A bacterial mass wouldn't be able to form such an advanced organ. And how would it have been killed? Bacterial growths cannot die from being struck at. This raises further doubts about GM's and EPA's convenient claim. Another theory is that the creatures were some sort of mutated earthworms that had evolved to survive in such hostile conditions, like a chemical oil pit. Nature, after all, is a master of adaptation. In the La Brea tar pits, the petroleum fly can be found on the surface of liquid asphalt. Its larvae thriving in the oily depths, feasting on the remains of less fortunate creatures. The deep-sea Pompeii worm is another extremophilic organism, one that makes its home amidst hydrothermal vents, 3,500 meters below the surface, being blasted by superheated water surging from the Earth's core, yet live comfortably at temperatures reaching 105 degrees Celsius, or 221 degrees Fahrenheit. Water bears are creatures known for their resiliency, as the tiny creatures can endure the harshest conditions imaginable, from the frigid vacuum of space to the crushing pressures 6 times that of the ocean's deepest trenches. They can withstand decades of starvation and temperatures that would turn most organisms to ash, from absolute zero to above boiling. All this to say that it's not unique for life to find its way in incredibly hostile environments. So, is it possible for the oil pit squids to be a creature that somehow adapted to living in such a toxic environment? Any such creature has yet to be discovered, but it seems the most plausible explanation. There are, of course, a few who believe that what the workers found was an alien creature, hailing from a world with similarly hostile conditions. Perhaps it arrived on Earth, already equipped to survive in the toxic environment of the oil pit. While evidence for this theory remains to be seen, the idea of alien creatures finding refuge in unexpected corners of Earth is not entirely unfounded. Consider the intriguing hypothesis that octopuses might be descendants of extraterrestrial beings, their ancestors arriving on a meteor that crashed into our oceans long ago. The possibility of a hoax certainly lingers. However, the lack of any subsequent attention-seeking behavior or outlandish tales suggests a genuine sense of bewilderment rather than a calculated deception. If the workers had truly fabricated the story, wouldn't they embellish it further, seeking their 15 minutes of fame? The quiet disappearance of the jar hints at a mystery left unsolved, rather than a hoax intentionally perpetuated. Furthermore, the official silence from General Motors, the Environmental Protection Agency, and Delphi Interior speaks volumes. In a world of readily issued denials and carefully crafted press releases, their failure to refute the creature's existence is notable. Coupled with the initial intention to investigate and identify the organisms, this silence implies a degree of credibility to the workers' initial reports. The absence of a clear denial fuels the intrigue, leaving the mystery of the creatures open to speculation and wonder. The existence of a creature thriving in such a toxic environment opens a Pandora's box of possibilities. If life can flourish in the depths of an oil pit, could there be entire ecosystems hidden beneath the Earth's surface, thriving in the vast oceans of oil that lie deep underground? This tantalizing prospect challenges our understanding of life's boundaries and raises fundamental questions about the potential for life in seemingly inhospitable environments, both on Earth and beyond. Furthermore, the implications for the human race are profound. The discovery of such resilient organisms could revolutionize our approach to environmental conservation and resource management. Imagine the potential for bioremediation, utilizing these creatures to cleanse polluted environments. However, it could also lead to stricter regulations on oil drilling and extraction, potentially impacting energy production and global economies. The creatures in the oil pit, if real, represent not just a biological marvel, but a potential catalyst for significant shifts in our relationship with the planet and its resources.